we're very glad to have with us Karina Smirnoff. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Tell us about the Dancing Pros Live Tour. What's that like for you?
Dancing Pros Live, it's one of my favorite shows to be a part of. And the reason for this is because it combines all the cool reality competition on television. We have The Voice, Angel Taylor, amazing vocals. We have So You Think You Can Dance dancers, Ryan and Chelsea, Benji Schwimmer, Tori, and then, of course, Dancing with the Stars cast. But on top of that, we also have Alan Thicke, who is extremely funny and witty, and very unpredictable. You literally have no idea what he's going to say, who he's going to speak to, at what time, and then at the end of the show, the audience get to crown the champion. So through, I guess, the power of suggestion by the judges' comments, they get to choose their champion.
That's so neat that everything's so interactive and it gives everybody the chance to do this. Yes. That's so neat.
Yes, and like every seat has a little remote control that looks like the old school calculator, like very old. So it's got like just the numbers, the amount of couples that we have, and then the audience presses the number that they want to win, and then okay, and the votes are being tabulated right then and there.
Well, tell us, being on Dancing with the Stars, what is that like for you? That's very like rush, rush, rush. Everything's like quick. What is this tour like for you, differentiating from that?
Well, I'm the head judge, so I don't actually get to dance. I do one number with 3 boys, though, which is exciting. 3 is always better than 1. But but I don't get to dance as much, but I get to watch the performances and comment on that. And normally, like, when I judge competitions or I would compete myself, you have a different perspective than the perspective you have as a dancer in Dancing with the Stars. So I'm enjoying this. Like, I get to see young talent, young champions compete for the trophy at the end of the competition. It's a different kind of adrenaline, but it's still an adrenaline rush.
Different. And what do you look for exactly, like, when you're judging anything in particular?
Absolutely. So if it is a freestyle round, because we have 2 acts, and the first act has the freestyle round, so anything goes. The couples can be as creative as they want to be. They can do crazy lifts, fun choreography. So I want to make sure that the storyline is clear. Obviously, technique and continuity and musicality and dynamic of the dance has to be there, but all the couples that are on tour and Dancing Pros Live, they all are champions in their categories and divisions, so the quality of dancing is incredible. So at that point, we just kind of have to figure out who has that extra it factor, during the performance. And then the second round is more technical, so that's where, I'll point out if someone doesn't have enough hip rotation, or if they chose to do, let's say, a Cuban action in cha-cha-cha on a bent knee, which is a huge no-no. So, I mean, the audience usually listens to those comments and they go like, yeah, like they're not really sure because it's too technical and complicated, but I always throw in something funny, always.
That's great. Sounds like such a great show. Everyone definitely has to come out and come see the tour.
Yes. It's, I've been doing several types of tours, like with dancing and performers and singing, and to me, this show, like, it's about 2 hours and maybe 20 minutes, but it goes by so fast. Like, we all sit there, and then like an hour and a half later, we're like, oh my gosh, we're almost like in the middle of the second act. So that's a good sign. That always means that the show is moving and it's interactive, and people are not sitting and go la 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 la, getting bored.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite productions to be a part of.
Like fun. And now tell us about Dancing with the Stars. You were just with Randy as your partner.
Yes.
What was that like for you?
Well, Randy is incredible. I've been a fan of Randy for many years. I've always been a fan of UFC and MMA and martial arts. So my dad actually, because I think my parents wanted a boy, so I tend to enjoy fighting and that stuff, I guess, like a boy too, so my dad and I would always sit in front of TV and we're like screaming, come on, what are you doing, so Randy was always a part of our family to a degree, and I got a dog that's American Staffordshire Terrier, which is a pit bull family, but they're a little taller, and they were bred to be nanny dogs that we named after Randy Couture. We didn't give him the Couture name, but we gave him Randy Smirnoff, but he was named after Randy Couture. So I remember being in Vegas one night, and I think we were celebrating something, so maybe a drink or two into the evening, I saw Randy celebrating after one of his fights, and I thought that it was a brilliant idea. Don't ask me why. To come up to him and tell him that I named my dog after him. Which when I did, he had a little like of a perplexed look on his face, and then he said, "Thank you," as a question mark. So I was like, all right. And then years later, he's on Dancing with the Stars, and he's my partner.
Wow, that is the neat story. That's so cool, actually. Really neat.
Yes, and he did so well. I mean, dancing is definitely something that you either train since you're a child and you have the quality, or you just let it go and have fun. And Randy definitely let it go and had a blast on the show.
One of our favorites of yours was Dancing with Corbin.
Oh my gosh.
Corbin, oh my gosh.
Love
We were like rooting for a win for you guys. Oh my gosh. You and Corbin, just fabulous. I can't even.
No, Corbin and I met before he did Dancing with the Stars. We met about 5 years ago during a Make-A-Wish Foundation event for Royal Caribbean Cruises. And we just hit it off. We met, and I knew like he was classy, smart, witty, and he had a little bit of the dance element in him because he danced in High School Musical. So for 5 years, I was like, dude, you got to do the show. Come on, come on. And then he finally said yes, and it was one of my favorite seasons because like you were, as long as you're able to develop a team between you and your partner, there is no limit of how far you can go and how well you can do on a dance floor. And Corbin and I had that. We were one
Power
unit.
couple, just so strong dancers.
Yeah, so like I think even though we didn't win, we had so many memorable dances and amazing memories after that season. We didn't feel like we lost.
I think winners in everybody's eyes, though. I mean, really.
Thank you. She said it. I didn't. She
Winners,
said it.
come on. So
It's
good.
been documented on film.
Exactly. And you got to tell us real quick about your book. Tell us about your new book.
Yes. So I called my mom the other day. I was like, Ma, I'm an author. Like, this is so cool. I've always loved writing. Not when I was in school and as a kid, but like when I went to college, I always enjoyed writing because it's very peaceful and tranquil. So my girlfriend and I would always talk to each other after we would go on these crazy dates. And, you know, the moment we would start a phone call, you're not going to believe what happened. After a while, we were like, listen, like, this needs to be a book because everybody goes on dates, and unfortunately lately more than ever dating has become a chore. Like so many of my friends and girlfriends, they're like, oh my god, I gotta go on a date, like this sucks, you know, because you look at it as a job where you look for Mr. Right, and it shouldn't be. It should be hysterical. So I have Cheryl Burke in the book, Lisa Ann Walters, Leah Thompson, Jacoby Jones, Ralph Macchio. A lot of people contributed to their stories, their crazy, disastrous, funny days to the book, and it's doing amazing. Like, it's actually, like, knock on wood, I think we're going towards the bestseller here, and I'm holding my breath, fingers crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed that I can cross. But yeah, it's doing really good. We're just not that into you.
Wow, that's impressive. And I got to read that book. I have to read it so much. Like,
and I don't name any names. That's the crazy part. So,
that's great.
but if you like read a story or two about me and my dating life, it's not difficult to put two and two together. Like, I have so many girlfriends. Like, was that this and this? I'm like, yep. You know?
Well, figured that one out. Yeah. Tell us any dating advice for the ladies out there. Anything good, like good dating advice?
I think the best dating advice that I got, and it was from our moms, is that dating is statistic. You know, there are so many men and so many women in the world, and if you do want to find your soulmate, someone that you absolutely love and want to spend the rest of your life with, you got to give him an opportunity to meet you. So even though people say, oh, dating, like you go on way too many dates, no, you got to go on dates because that's how you're going to meet them. Yep. And if you're not going to meet them, you're going to create maybe a great story that they later on is going to go into volume 2.
Exactly, it's going to be written about. See?
Exactly. Right now we have this contest online where my fans and friends are posting their crazy stories, so someone is going to win that opportunity to be in the second book, which is really cool.
Awesome. I'm hearing there's a lot of stories here. See how many people have these experiences? Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the dates that I were on, the guy picked me up in a really like exotic, like fast car that it, like makes a lot of noise when it drives, and he takes me to this very popular hot spot in LA, and it's got like two levels outdoor seating, and we pull up, and I was so nervous that I was gonna hit the car that I decided to stick my head out of the window to make sure the curb was not right. So as I stick my head out, he closes the window on my neck, and everyone at the restaurant, as they eating, like it became silent. It was like, and they're all looking at me, right? So at this point, I'm producing sounds like, owie! So then I had to finally walk into the restaurant after the whole, situation with the ego and my pride dragging behind, fully embarrassed. But that's like, those are the types of stories.
That's the story, and that's what we're going to be reading, and we're going to love it.
Yes,
So
thank you so much.
Thank you.